So we've got a very removal heavy hand with our stall card and a late game card. Well, it's sort of a medium removal heavy hand. It does have 2 removal spells. They're pretty premium removal spells as well. So we're not going to mulligan this. This hand needs to draw into something, but we do definitely have things to draw into. Do we go for the Burn the Impure right away? I don't think so. 1/1 infects are usually outclassed pretty quickly, like with 2/2s. Do we want to burn that? We're using a removal very quickly if we do that. But that is what you have to do against this kind of a deck, because it's very fast. We do have another removal spell to go, so I'm going to burn this Digester. We've got nothing that we know of in the near future that can block it, so... Well, we can trade here, but we need this to hold this back. Core Prowler, okay. Not as bad as Corpscrew right there. Gonna go for the attack. We will be blocking. Become a 1/1. Alright, we got Skitherix. Ready for battle if we draw 1 land. Although I might end up playing the vampires first, because the life gain isn't going to be too relevant, and we do plan on winning through Skitherix. So the damage isn't too relevant either, and we need to start blocking, and we don't want to be blocking infect guys with our win condition. Okay. We take 5 here, and we need to draw a land. Or a creature that costs 4 or less. We're in a pretty tough spot. Well, it is a creature, and it can block. We still go to 7 poison. That's if he doesn't have an answer to a blocker here. Alright, well the trade goes through. We go up to 7, and we're gonna be in the same situation, although his next threat might be a non-artifact creature. And then we'll be good for a turn. Or he could not have a threat. We certainly can't just be sitting here though, so we need to draw a land. He's drawing a land for us. I wish it was for us. He probably wishes we would take a bit of his foot away too. Here we go. With him having nothing, he likely is sitting back on some cards in hand. They're either pump or removal, and he didn't pump that guy he had before, so we're just going to play something which relevantly affects the board. It's a 4-turn clock. And we don't miss any damage if we draw another land, because we still got haste on Skitherix. Although we likely... Not sure if we even play it. Well, I guess with one card in hand, you just gotta go for it. But we didn't get an extra land, so he doesn't have haste regardless. So we're gonna attack, he's gonna chump and draw cards. And now he's on a 3-turn clock with Decimator Web. Which is I untap and then wait till the end of his turn and then untap and do it twice in a row. So he gets 2 more turns basically. So I'm not going to play anything. See how quick of a clock this is? It's pretty good. He needs to kill me next turn. I do hopefully draw a land. I'm still hoping to draw a land because that allows me to go for the throat as well as Decimator Web. Otherwise I'm just sitting back on my vampires. There we go. Now we can go for the throat, any real threats. Not sure there's anything artifact you could play even with haste that would wreck a Steel Hellkite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doesn't have enough to destroy Decimator Web and isn't strong enough to kill us. So this is basically game, unless he obviously has removal for this. In which case he's on a 4-turn clock naturally, and we've still got all this gas in our hands. If he does attack, we're going to just have to take the damage. He might have removal for this, but then we can put him on a quicker clock than what he's got us on, as well as we've got a number of chumpers later if need be. He is thinking about what to do. He obviously has to kill the Decimator Web, or this is over immediately as soon as I untap. I should have been playing Decimator Web in my last pool when I opened it. I didn't realize how good it was until people started telling me, and I used it twice a day already. I do seem to open it a lot. Because I always just thought about, the subpar life loss and poison countering and poison counters, and figured like maybe if he's on 8 poison counters, it's a good way to just finish him off, gives you a little bit of reach, and realized how quick it actually is. The mill clock, because in a 40 card deck it's no longer decimating him, it's much more than that. And he's still thinking about something. He goes Total Defiance to draw a card. See what he can see. That's game. Now I made a mistake just then. Just as I clicked to end the game, I realized I should be looking at his graveyard, and I didn't. So, from what we saw, he has a Telgelad Defiance, but we don't have... Well, we do have the living weapons. We've got to be careful in combat with living weapons. And we got to also know that Telgelad Defiance is actually a removal spell for germs. So we've got to keep that in mind. And other than that, we really just want to be blocking his... He had a lot of small guys, so I'm going to take out the Miser Corpse Cur and put it in Gust Skimmer, because we luckily enough have some pretty good blocks right there. And I don't think we even need the other one. Everything else is a good enough blocker as it is. That was the only overcosted card in our deck. It's questionable as to whether we should have the Gargoyle, because it is a very control-y late game card. And it'll likely just trade for one of his large late game guys, or 2 infect guys on defense. Might be better to just bring in Gust Skimmer instead of this guy. Oh, well, on the same note, I just realized this would be a much better takeout, and I'm going to do that now. That's not as nearly as good a smasher as it is against non-infect decks, because indestructibility doesn't mean anything. So where's our other one? Gust Skimmer. Is that the best thing we got? Yeah, nothing else really appeals to me. And I don't think we need this white package. So, gonna submit this. And we got a pretty good hand. Got some blockers and some removal spells. And he is going first. Something I have not decided to do once with any deck so far. And it's always to good measure. I've never been out-tempoed by that one turn, but that one card can make a lot of difference. Mercire is a pretty good answer here to his pretty irrelevant 1/1. Means we can block and not delay our Metalcraft count for our glider. And while we can trade, we will be trading. Saving our removal spells for the guys that our creatures can't get to. Our creatures are either well and truly over the top or subpar when compared to his creatures, his mid-game creatures. So we want to save our removal spells for those creatures. So we can trade off our little guys for his little guys, and then come in for the win later. Because we're not winning off Snapsail Glider. A Copper Carapace. It's going to bring his guy up to a 4/4. That is pretty good for us. We can just block that and burn the Impure next turn. See, we could also Blister Stick plus Galvanic Blast to use the same number of, basically the same number of removal spells, playing this guy just as a 2/1. But then we leave ourselves open to a re-equip, which would be not all that advantageous for us. So we're going to play more around the cards on the board than the cards he might have in his hand, because by not burning now, we aren't playing around Untamed Might. But we can still deal with an Untamed Might by blocking and Galvanic Blasting. But what we are playing around is a re-equip of his Copper Carapace back over to this guy, which we wouldn't be able to deal with. So right now, we've got removal spells that can deal with his guys. And it'll leave him with nothing, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. Alright, we'll be attacking for 3 and playing their Strandwalker. Obviously we can have a pretty nutty turn if... Well, there's no reason he would play... If he has a lot of little guys, we might be able to pick something off with this, but if he has one little guy, he can equip up. And if he has a guy that costs enough mana that he can't equip, then he obviously won't... it obviously won't have 1 toughness. Let's see what he decides to do here. Yeah, he goes ahead and equips. And we'll see if we can get him anyway. We're just going to attack in with everything. He can't block Snapsail Glider, which is what is most precious to us. Strandwalker is really just a germ. We can re-equip it later. And if he blocks the mirror, then he's dead to Blister 6 Shaman, which is probably what he's going to do. Because that looks like the best block for him. And I think even considering the circumstances, it probably is the best block for him. If he has to block something. That brings us pretty far ahead. We've got a flyer, and if he stalls out the ground too much, we can re-equip our Strandwalker over here to get in for some extra damage. If he offers the trade, the 4/4 for our 2/2/1s, we are going to take it and bash back for 4. We'd be bashing for 8, and then he'd be bashing for 6 plus pump. Be too much. Alright, so we'll be leaving back Blister Stick Shaman. Because he has a Strider Harness that we do need to play around. But we're going to be bashing here. Leaving back Blister Stick Shaman because that's the one we would most be okay losing, because it does not deny us Metalcraft. And is smaller than the germ. Massacre Worm gets us real good. That is crazy good card. Used our removal spell just that little bit too early. But he is on low health, so we'll see what we can do from here. Massacre Worm is definitely a threat that can kill us with physical damage on its own, so we can't just ignore it as a damage source. If we equip up our vampires, we've got ourselves a 6/7. He can go up to a 9/8. So that doesn't work for us. Doesn't attack. Alright. It's a pretty good card. Advance our board state while drawing us a card. Get past that bit of land. He drew land, and we've got him dead on board if he attacks. So, well, now we've got him dead on board. So he's looking to rip here. All he needs is a blocker. But then he's dead next turn. He hasn't anything for multiple turns. And I do have a blocker. I lose 2 from the attack, But if he has the instant speed 2/1/1 infect guys, he can block, and only take 4. But I'm playing around a whole load of removal spells by attacking with everyone. He can only kill one of my guys with the Massacre Worm, and I kill both of his little 1/1s and then kill him next turn. And I take 4, 2 from losing this, and 2 from trumping with this. And that's it. On to round 2.